What was the best part of filming Combat Zone, and what was the most challenging part of filming?
I mean, the best part was basically, working with Mark and Matt and watching them work. Just watching their brains ticking over. Matt, like I say, just directing it on the camera, knowing exactly what he wants. Mark designing it all. Just watching Mark walk around the gym, look at some weights, start swinging them around, and watching him. You think, oh yeah, he knows what he wants to do with that. Someone's going to be using that in a minute, and that was definitely the best part. Just working with them and watching them. Worst part was I suppose how many times in rehearsals having to do things to get it right. I didn't realise that it looks great. You throw yourself on the floor, but when you throw yourself on the floor like 20 times and you keep landing on the same spot, your leg or your back, it really starts to hurt after a while. I didn't realise how much your body can ache just by doing the same thing over and over and over again.
It was just brilliant how they brought everything together in such a short time, because we arrived there Saturday morning. We rehearsed the whole thing through. So Mark choreographed it Saturday morning with us, throwing out the ideas. We rehearsed it in the afternoon. We had a couple of hours rehearsing in the morning on Sunday, and we filmed it Sunday evening. So for two people, me and Dan, who had never done it before, and for Ryan, who's had experience but nothing quite as intense as that, and to be able to pull that together, and we achieved. I think that was kind of what I enjoyed the most, especially when we saw the final cut of it. I don't think any of us were expecting it to, look as good as it, or even go on with the success it's had either. The toughness of it was, the whole process of it was, quite an eye-opener about how hard it actually is to do this sort of stuff, sort of thing as well, yeah.
I'd say the best part for me personally is it was nice to work on something which was just action. Like, more often than not, a lot of projects, there'll be action, but it's more the story's the thing that's more important, or the aesthetic, or the performance from the actors. They're not necessarily looking to push themselves as fighters, whereas this very much did. The fact we were using real weights. Those weren't foam dumbbells. These were dumbbells with weight to them, and as the guys have said, we would do that rehearsal and then do those takes over and over again. And obviously it's like, we're doing something that's risky, but we want to push ourselves. We want to get better. And I think that was nice, just to be with a group of people. It's like, this is about the action. You guys are today, you are action performers. This is the genre that you all grew up loving. And now we got to be a part of that. And like I say, the film's gone on, it's been shown, nationally and internationally. And, people have seen us and they've gone, these guys can pull it off. We probably got a long way to go. We got a lot more to learn. But the fact that our first sort of step into this, fun world, and people think you guys are good enough, that's been really good. As for the toughest bit, getting it right, but like not just getting it right for the cinema, for filming wise, but just also these guys aren't just your co-stars. They're your mates. You're going to be going on and doing more stuff with them. And it's like that thing of, I really want to look good, but I also really don't want to hurt you. We got chains, we got weights. I mean, the number of times like Colin afterwards, like that after that stunt involving the thing where my head like bashed off the floor, the thing like 3 times. There was one point. It was that kick, wasn't it?
I full on kicked you in the chest. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also I had to do that jumping axe kick at you, Dan.
Yeah.
And I ended up landing in the bin. And straight away everyone's up on their feet, like, God, are you all right? And it's just like, yeah, I'm fine. Trust me, I'll let you know if I'm hurt. But it's that, but at the same time, it's like there is another nice little thing about the whole thing was just the fact that we were all there to make each other better. There is no one person that's more important. This isn't about you looking like the star, this person to be best. We all wanted to help each other.
Was your favourite part of the final edit of Combat Zone?
Well, I just, the whole thing, none of us ever thought it'd look as good or as sharp or even sound as good as what it come out as. I mean, Matt works tremendously hard behind the scenes, editing and kind of grading and doing all the sound and everything like that. And so just seeing the final product was beyond what we thought it was going to.
It was the sound effects for me, those bone crunching sound effects. When those weights, we're swinging those weights and we're hitting each other with them, you literally hearing the bones break. I loved it.
I love how Matt managed to, in the edit, he really managed to build up that opening, because I know there was like, when we were doing that bits where we were lying on the floor and thinking like, we're standing here looking at each other, how are we going to make this look cool? And like, no, but with the tannoy, the way it was edited, and the way as well, like, Dan was looking up to the sky, looking terrified. Colin was looking like angry, and then just like he used that shot of me where I'm just like completely stone faced, and it's like, again, like with the edit, he managed to bring out the character. So before we've even landed a punch, already you get an idea of like what's going on and like who we are. And I thought it was such a great way to build up a fight, considering none of us said anything to each other. And in the moment they, Mark's voice says like good luck, and we're all looking at each other, and it's like you can feel the tension building. I thought just the way that opening, it really did, I think, made the film. Like the fight and the action is great, but that intro, it brought the tension. I could hear, I remember the first time watching on the big screen, all I could hear was people going like, holding their breath.
Premiered at the Fine Spirit, and then there, I mean, there was gasp. Also, in New York at the Urban Action Showcase, that was when they showed the 30-second trailer. Everyone kind of had a big gasp because it ends with me swinging at Ryan and throwing a punch. I'm like, ooh! So it was quite cool how that just kind of pulled people in.
What was the best feedback you received for Combat Zone?
I don't know. I think kind of the awards and stuff it won. I guess that kind of just more so than we've had a few negative remarks about it, but everybody's mostly been positive about it, so which is really nice. And then I think it's been submitted at 10 awards, and it's we've won 6 so far, and it's waiting for more. None of us expected. That is for me anyway.
Yeah, I mean the feedback's been amazing, hasn't it? Anyone you talk to, are so positive about it. But one of the things I picked up on is people saying about the humour in it. For such a violent fight scene, there is a bit of humour, and people do pick up on that. And a lot of people have said to me, like, all the fight scenes and all the short films they see, it was nice to have one with that fast pace and humour in it. Basically it's short and sweet, and it's funny. So
I think the best compliment I've heard was they loved what we did with the space. A lot of fights, yeah, they've had they have weapons, or they've been in these big open spaces, but with us it was like there was not one thing that we used. It's like everything was a weapon, or everything was, whether it was jumping, the bars, it was Colin's like 2-footed kick where he used he used one of the pull-up rails and he jumped through the air. Dan using the bar, the bench as a choke, and then the chains, the dumbbells, the weights, even using the wall. It's like there was no point where anyone was watching it and thinking like, I know what's coming next. We kept surprising them. There was no.
That's thanks to Mark, though, isn't it? I mean, that was Mark, wasn't it? That's what he did on that Saturday morning, wasn't it? He was just looking around, picking things up, and going, right, yeah, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use that. Yeah, I mean, he was, we wouldn't have come up with that, would we? It was amazing, Mark, putting that together.
Quite worrying how twisted his mind was when he started just looking at, oh yeah, you can just beat someone with that.
Yeah.
Someone with this.
Okay, you guys, you're going to be bouncing off the equipment whilst you're rolling over to a bench, and then you got to land him. It's like, how are we doing that? How are we going to do that? I think it's nice as well, like having someone like Mark, even with his experience in the years he's done in film, like, the fact he's like saying, I believe you guys can do it. And it's like, we're fairly new. So to hear someone like Mark say, you guys have got this, and then to see it come out the way it did, and then to win awards and, to get the praise that it did, it's like, actually, yeah, we can. And, it's because you got filmmakers like Mark and Matt in your corner going, we want people to succeed. That's very much that's what fighting spirit is. It's not just winning and losing. It is the spirit to keep going on, to keep getting better. We're all martial artists first, I think, and that's what's great about this film festival.
The ending was quite mysterious. Will there be a sequel to Combat Zone?
Ask Mark. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, the reason we even joked, the ending even was a bit of a joke. We were like, oh, Colin's walking out the thing, but imagine if he turned around and Mark was there and it's like round 2. And then Mark was like, nah, you know what, actually, I'm not just going to be a voice in this. No, I do want to be posing at the end. And then the look on Colin's face, and he's like, oh man, not now.
Because originally the ending was going to be that we were caught in a loop. So we were caught in a fighting loop. Once one dies, then it restarts again. but it was quite hard to figure out how to finish that, and it was just ended up being the ending that we had. So again, that was kind of all off the cuff, really.
Away from the film festivals and that, we've asked Mark, if there was a time at another point where it's like, how cool would it be if, fight scene open with Mark and Colin going at it. Colin looks like he's going to be down for the count, and then next thing you know, Dan comes barreling in and he's like, oh no, he's not down yet. And then they said the same for me. And then just like we thought, could you imagine though if like, Mark's not down, it looks like we've won, and the next thing you know, we turn around and there's like 2 others. So it's like the end of Combat Zone 2. It's now 3 versus 3. But whereas we're the new fighters, like if we could get like 2 other, veteran martial artists / fight, actors or performers, and there is kind of this like war between the new and the old. But then also, all 3 of us have talked offset about doing our own thing as well, hopefully. So it's nice that it's been left there. If we want to return to Combat Zone, we will. I think all of us would quite happily jump at the chance if Mark said, I want you guys to come back, shall we do it?
Now, time for speed round. So for this round, you pick 1 film for each category. What is your favourite film from your favourite filmmaker?
I think I'm good because I watched it recently. It's called The Victim. That's my favourite at the minute.
I go John Woo, Hard Target. I'm a big Van Damme fan.
Ooh, good one. Oh yeah.
It's insanely bad because I can't remember the director's name, but it would have to be Ip Man 2 for me.
What is the best film from the 80s?
The best film from the 80s is Ghostbusters.
Good film, good film. Kickboxer. I say big Van Damme fan. So Kickboxer for me.
I'm ex-Navy, so I'm going to be biased. I'm going to say Top Gun.
What film has the best soundtrack?
Kickboxer.
Oh, Rocky 4.
I'm going to say The Matrix.
Your favourite person, what is their favourite film?
I guess I have to say wife. And I guess her favourite film is Dirty Dancing.
So my favourite person, also my wife. Her favourite film is Back to the Future.
I know my girlfriend's going to kick my ass if I get this wrong, and she can. She's a 2-time taekwondo champion. I'm going to say my girlfriend, and it would have to be Pretty Woman.
And lastly, which cinematic universe would you like to live in?
Well, it's not really a cinematic universe, but I'd love to just dive around 90s B movies like I don't know, Ring of Fire and The Perfect Weapon and that sort of. That is kind of a universe that would be where I'm happiest. I think.
I reckon Shrek, all the fairy tale characters. That'd be brilliant.
If I had to pick cinematic universe, I'm really torn here. I can't decide. Quick fire questions. I'm just going to say the MCU probably.
Too dangerous. Every day they're trying to destroy that planet. I just hate to be in that universe.
That's the end of the interview. Thank you all for joining me for today's